I hardly ever mass produce my cards, but today is a little bit of an exception. Today I'm going to be creating this fun holographic card using some Minc foil, which I've never worked with before, but I'm excited to give it a try, and it's a perfect card because of its simplicity to mass produce. So let's go ahead and see how I put this card together. Alright, starting off today's project, I have gone into Cricut Design Space and I've designed these rectangles that say "Boo to You," and I have print them out because they are going to be a print and cut. So I just went in, did a rectangle that is a print and cut, and I flattened my words on top of that rectangle. And since it's a black rectangle, the foil should stick to it. This is my first time trying out the foil, so we'll see how that works. So my first step is to go ahead and put this onto the Cricut and get print and cut to do its thing, so that way I'll have 4 of these rectangles cut out. Okay, now that I have these cut out and printed, I'm gonna go ahead and warm up my Minc. Oh, there's a little switch here. I gotta push that there. And then, yep, there we go, okay. Scared myself for a second. I haven't ever worked with one of these before. I think I'm supposed to set it on setting 4, and I don't use it until that light turns green. I have some of this really holographic looking foil, and I have to send a huge shout out to Kathy Zilski. She had an extra Minc Mini that she was kind enough to send me, and she sent me some of the extra foil that she had on hand, so huge thank you to her for sharing the goodness of the Minc and everything that comes along with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some of this foil off to cover big enough for our little pieces here, and then I'm going to put them through on the cover. It needs a cover sheet of some type. I'm using just a regular piece of copy paper, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this out and get it ready to go through the foiling once it heats up to the right temperature. Okay, I've gotten my foil put down, and I'm going to go ahead and close my cover sheet. I think I do want to flip these over because right now the toner is face down. I want the toner face up, I think. I don't know. This is the first time I'm doing it. I did forget to mention that I printed this on my laser printer. I did not print this on, oh, it's a smaller opening. All right, so I didn't print this on my inkjet printer. I printed this on my laser printer because the toner is what this foil sticks to. So I've gone ahead and put in my my transfers, and we'll see what happens. It's gonna heat up as it goes through and hopefully stick to that toner. All right, it just went through, it just came out, and it looks like it's stuck. So let's go ahead and open and reveal what we got. I hope I did this correctly. It looks like I did because these are now stuck. So let's pull back and reveal. Oh, that's nice. There's a little bit of wrinkles, but again, this is a Halloween card, so it's honestly not gonna matter all that much. So didn't quite get a 100% effect for what I was looking for, but that's just because I'm new to the machine and new to learning how to use it. So I have 2 more to go. Oh, I didn't quite get that corner either, but that's all right. It still looks pretty good. I'm still pretty happy with it. And so now I'm gonna go ahead and do the other 2. All right guys, moment of truth. Let's see how well I did on my next set. Oh, this is great. Oh, perfect. This is almost, I think, 100% perfect. There's a little bit of around the edge that didn't quite get it there, but it's close enough. Let's see, this one is, ooh, this one's not so good. All right, so still learning how to do this, but overall I think this is gonna be just fine, even with those kind of mistakes. Again, this is a Halloween card, so it's okay if it's not perfect, and I don't have to worry too much about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and move the Minc out of the way, and we'll work on our next step. Alright, for my next step, I have 4 colors of Distress Oxides. I have Carved Pumpkin, Twisted Citron, Candied Apple, and Wilted Violet. These are perfect Halloween colors, but I'm only going to be using 1 at a time. I'm going to start off with my Wilted Violet. That's one of my favorite colors, I think, in the total Distress ink line. One of them. I still have one that ranks above it. But anyways, so I'm going to go ahead and put this Kathy Zilski stencil down. onto, I have 110 pound Nina Solar White Classic Crest cardstock. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put down my stencil, and then I'm gonna use a little bit of tape to kind of hold it down. It doesn't hold down very well on the Kin Oliver mat, but I just need a little something to kind of make sure that it doesn't slide around too much while I'm working with it. Okay, I don't know if this is an optical illusion. I know the camera may not pick it up very well, but I've noticed that I can't ever get this stencil exactly aligned. I think, like down here on the bottom, it's a little cattywampus, and the bats are still, I don't know, it's something, it's either a trick of the mind, or maybe whenever they created this stencil that I'm using, maybe the machine was off a little bit. I don't know. I'm gonna have to ask Kathy if they're all supposed to be like perfectly lined up, because I feel like mine don't exactly quite line up with the edge of the stencil. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, so I'm gonna take my Wilted Violet and I'm just gonna go ahead and start stenciling in these bats. All right, for this last one, I went ahead and changed, because I was gonna use Candied Apple, but I decided to jump over. I have this little Ranger ink cube of Distress ink in the new Speckled Egg, and I wanted to see what kind of color I would get from that, because it's not traditionally a Halloween color, but I think it worked out really well. It's this kind of shadowy blue, so I think overall it works out well. I did notice that I got a little bit of orange left over captured in it, but honestly it's not that big of a deal. It kind of adds to the effect, so overall I think it's okay. I just wonder if the ink pad that I got is a little not so juicy, because it seems like I'm not getting a lot of ink onto my ink blender or onto my page. So not exactly sure what's going on there, but no big deal. I'll go ahead and get all of this cleaned up and we'll move on to our next step. Next up, I'm going to take some of this thin fun foam. I should be using white, I'm going to mention this, but I don't have any. So I'm going to use red instead. Not a big deal, because first of all, this die is a lot smaller than the shape of my rectangle, and so it shouldn't matter all that much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a couple of pieces off of this, and then I'm going to put it through my Gemini Junior to cut out my rectangle 4 times for backing. I didn't have any foam tape or anything like that, so this is what I'm using instead to make that happen. Okay, to finish out the card, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and apply some adhesive onto my shiny panel. And I'm going to go ahead and put the fun foam on the back here. Now that I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of guesstimate where my piece is going to go here on the front and stick that down. Just like that. And I love that this fun foam is not super thick, so it gives a pretty good amount of elevation without being like over bulky. Alright, there we go guys. 4 cards ready to go into the mail for Halloween. I love how these came out. You'll notice that this one looks a little different because the foil was running a different direction and this one is kind of a little crooked, but I love how they all came out. I love the stencil. I love that there's a simplicity to it, but it looks great and it's perfect for Halloween. So as you can see, this card is super easy to mass produce and a lot of fun. I got 4 cards in under an hour, ready to send out this October. I think that's gonna do it for today's video. If you like today's video, give it a thumbs up, let YouTube know that you like my video, and then hopefully YouTube will share it across YouTube land. Also, if you're not already, hit that button down below that says subscribe to my YouTube channel, and get great updates every time I post a new video, or go live by clicking the bell notification icon and clicking on all notifications. You can also get social with me by checking out my social media links, all listed down in the description below. Come on over and say hello, get social with me. I hope everybody has a great day, and remember guys, normal's just the setting on your dryer. Bye!